Hello, Faith and Mental Health Summit. My name is Alex Dumas. I am the Life Success Creator, and today, what I want to share with you are a few ideas about how to communicate so that everybody wins. And that might seem like a heavy task. Everybody wins, every single body. And how does this relate to my mental health? How does this relate to my faith? Well, I'm going to share some stories, some ideas. But before I do that, I want to answer the question that may be going through your head right now. Why should I listen to you? Why are you important? Why is my time being taken by you? And I'll share with you why. I'm somebody who's been a coach for the past 5+ years since 2018, working with individuals, working with teams, helping them in areas of leadership, of marketing and sales. I've been parts of six-figure launches. I've been able to create different types of events and experiences. One being the ultimate experience that happened in Phoenix, Arizona in January 2022. I'm also the vice president of the BIPOC Coach Collective. We are a global movement of coaches of color around the world to amplify their voices in this coaching profession and curate a brave and authentic space. And I can go on and on and on about who I am and why I'm this and why I'm important, but that's not important. What's important is you, the opportunity that's available to you. And with communication, I want this to be interactive. Even though I'm speaking to you, this is more of a dialogue right now, a monologue versus a dialogue. I want it to become that. I want it to become you responding to me as if we were across the table from each other or across the screen in a private Zoom. So there's a couple opportunities for you to listen to this. Okay? And this is not to scare anybody, this is not to put you in fear, but I want you to have this visualization. So I would imagine that at some point in your life, you've been on a plane, you've taken a flight. If you haven't, then here's a quick description of what you typically experience on an airplane. You have someone called a flight attendant. And this flight attendant's role is to help you understand how to navigate in case of an emergency. So they tell you about oxygen masks. They tell you about wearing a life preserver. They tell you where the exits are, so you know mentally, I need to go here, I need to go there, I need to make an adjustment and move quickly. So they're there to do that along with serving drinks and foods and stuff like that. Now, typically for me, when that has happened, I've kind of mentally checked out. I've kind of gone to police like, all right, can you just hurry up? I want to get back to the book I'm reading. I want to get back to the movie I'm watching or the podcast I'm listening to. Whatever it is. Whatever they're talking about, I'm not interested because what? I know that already. I know that. Got that. I know what to do. I've never been in an emergency, thank God. But I don't think it's going to take much mental mental energy for me to say, all right, there's an exit, go to that exit, do what I got to do to get off the plane safely. So that's one opportunity of listening with me in this conversation. The other opportunity is if you were to think of me as the pilot, and I like to call it pilot talk, straight to you, no fluff, no nothing. Because if the pilot comes on the intercom and they say, "Ladies and gentlemen, we have first landing, this and that," you're gonna listen in a different way. You're gonna listen because it's important to you. It's something that could potentially save your life. I don't know if my talk today for you can save your life, but what if it could? What if this could radically shift how you experience life, how you are communicating with your loved ones, with business partners, with whoever it is in your orbit, your network. And if you're able to come from that place, then I will guarantee you this is going to be a remarkable experience for you. And if you don't, then that's fine. Wasn't the time in you. The listening that you're having isn't meant for what I'm trying to share. And that's not a judgment, that's not a you're a bad person thing. It's just a way of being in a way of communicating. I'm gonna share my screen. We're gonna dive into this right now. So stay tuned. Right, here we are. This is the wonderful slide deck created, curated just for you in this message here. How to communicate so that everybody wins. And before we proceed, what I want to invite you to do is be prepared because this is an interactive experience. So you're going to need a couple of things. One, pen, blue or black ink, whatever you choose. And of course, a handy dandy notebook, a piece of paper, or something where you can write, you can scribble, or you can reflect. Because this is not, like I said, a monologue. This is a dialogue, a digital dialogue between you and me. And I'm so excited to share these ideas with you to make a difference. So when we talk about communication and winning, I want you to jot down, what does a win in communication mean to you? And what I mean by win, I don't necessarily mean where you're superior, you are dominant, make someone else inferior or make them wrong. What I'm talking about is a win where both parties are walking away feeling pretty comfortable, feeling pretty confident. Doesn't mean there's always an agreement, but there's an understanding. My definition of a win is simply this: I understand you, you understand me. Whatever conversation, whatever interaction we have, I think that's a win. Whether I agree, whether you agree, that's not my concern. Do you understand? Get it? You get the do? It's a win. And with the wins, I want you to play along with it for a minute. I want you to imagine this is a circle. Yeah. Hopefully, you all know that. This is a circle. So let's start there. Okay? Communication win number one. You understand that it's a circle. I understand that it's a circle. In this example, I want you to imagine that everything in the world, everything there is to know in the world is inside of that circle. So we have this 100%, 100, 100%. Everything there is ever to know is inside of the circle. And my question for you is really simple and straightforward. How much of this circle do you know? So we said this circle is 100%. How much percentage of this do you know of everything? I'll give you a second to think about that. There you go. Some Jeopardy music. So it's simple. What do you know? Out of this 100% circle of everything there is to know in the world, what of that do you? Real question, real opportunity for you is to now explore, what do you know that you know? So in green, you see the K, not the three. This is representing what you know that you know. And and this is a bigger slice, a bigger representation, because I want to make this visual. But for the most part, I would say most of us are like little nothings, right? Barely, barely aligned. And there is some really elementary things that I know that I know. I know that my name is Alex. I know who my parents are. I know who my siblings are. I know that I'm married. I know that I have kids. I know that I have been born for a certain amount of time. I know that I went to this school. I know that I had this experience. Right? These are the things that I know that I know. I know how to drive a car. That's really simple. That may be something that you know how to do. I know how to ride a bike. I know that I know that. It's not something I have to think about. That's not something I have to imagine. That's not something that I have to embellish or fabricate. I know these things. So the question for you right now is to take that handy dandy pen, that handy dandy notebook, and start to explore, what are the things that you know, that you know. What are the things that are really clear, concrete, easy to figure out? Because well, as we move along, we're going to start to see, do we know as much as we think? Now, for your purposes here, this is how much that I know. Okay, It's a joke. It's a haha. It's a funny, so to speak, because I like to be a little bit cheeky and clever and cute and creative. So this is the AK. This is what Alex knows, and obviously I'm super supreme knowledge knowing all things. It's a joke. Okay, I don't know that much. I definitely maybe know like 1%, maybe less than a percent, maybe a 0.0000001%. I don't know. But it's just a fun game. It's a fun way to break this ice, a fun way for us to explore what it is that we actually know. The thing I get interested in about when I work with clients, when I work with individuals who are trying to build careers, who are trying to build their lives for themselves, and in this case, for mental health, right? There's a lot of things that we know, a lot of information up there, a lot of distractions going on. And in the midst of those distractions comes this next part of what do you know that you don't know, right? This is KDK. Know, don't know, right? I just abbreviated it that way because it's just the simplest way. But what do you know that you don't know? I mentioned earlier that I know how to drive a car. I know that. How to start the engine, I know. Put it in reverse, put it in drive, how to manipulate the radio buttons. I know how to adjust the air conditioner. I know how to move the seat back, fix the side mirrors, all of these things. I know how to make a left turn, use the signals, honk my horn, emergency, hazard lights, all these different things. I know this. Now, what I know that I don't know is I know that I don't know how to build a car. I know that I don't know how to wire the electronics in there to make these things happen. I don't know how to make the car start. I don't know why gasoline is the preferred fuel for a car. I just know that it's there, but I don't know how to manufacture and create it so that it makes a car. I wouldn't be able to build my own car at this point. So I know that I don't know that. Now, the question for you is, what do you know that you don't know? Give you a few moments to think about that. Pause the video here if you need to really slow down and think, because this is what I want this to be an opportunity for you to think. Okay? And in this place of what we know that we don't know, as it becomes something that we know that we at one point I did not know how to drive. At one point you did not know how to do the things that you're doing right now. You figured it out. How did you do that? Through this process called learning. When it comes to communication, when it comes to our mental health, our faith, there's so much to learn. There's so much to learn about another person. There's so much to learn about our reactions, our own biases, our own judgments. But the challenge is if we know that we don't know that, and if we don't do anything about that, right? If it just becomes a thing that, yeah, I know I don't know that. Well, you have the opportunity of being interested enough in it to do something, to learn something, to find someone to help you, or just becomes another thing. Yeah, I know I don't know that. It's another thing. I file it away. It goes to the back of my mind, and I don't care anymore about it. But what about in our faith? At one point, I knew that I did not know how to have a relationship with my Creator, my Maker, God, Jesus Christ. I knew that I didn't know that, but through practice, through my own conviction, through my own work, and conviction as far as convicted to be a follower, to be obedient. I started to see things that I now know. I know that the things that are written in the Bible for me, that this person gave their life for me, that these principles, these teachings are real for me. I know that I know, and this is what I've been able to learn. What I'm really interested in about in my work as a coach, as a creator, as a speaker, as a parent, as a husband, is this DKDK. These are the things that you don't know that you don't know. The question I have for you is, what don't you know that you don't know? All right, time's up. There's a little bit of a trick question because if you're thinking about it, whatever you may have answered is something you know that you don't know, right? So stay with me for a second. If I ask you that question again, what don't you know that you don't know? One of my answers in the past has been like, well, I don't know how to create my own galaxy or my own universe. Well, that's not true because I know that I don't know how to. So it's in my awareness. This is why I call these conversations awareness sessions. I don't know that I don't. And growing up, there were a lot of things that I knew. I knew that I didn't know why some people acted one way towards people of color versus another. I knew that I didn't know why I felt out of place, out of sync with life. Because I think differently. I see the world in a different place. I have these different experiences. And once I got into world of coaching, psychology, I was able to uncover these things called blind spots, things that I didn't even know that I did. Case in point, my wife said to me one day that, Alex, you snore a lot. Huh? What? Me? No, I don't. I don't snore. I sleep peacefully, little baby. That's how I sleep every night. Well, in her infinite wisdom, she decided to record me. She played me a video the very next morning. All I heard was as clear as day. I'm snoring. I didn't know that wasn't even aware about that before she brought it up. So this is a blind spot. This is something that it's a funny example. It's a goofy, silly thing. But what if it's something more serious? What if it's a blind spot where I don't recognize that this person, this incident, this experience triggers me? I'm not talking about suppressed memories and things like that. I'm just talking about I don't know why I have a feeling about somebody makes me uneasy. Then I know I don't know. And hopefully that blind spot creates an opportunity, a space for me to learn. And this is where insight happens. Insight. Ah, I didn't know that. Right? The light bulb, that moment of, hmm, I never knew that. I didn't know that. And now you know you didn't know that. And back to this process, right? The insight gives the, the, the foundation ground for learning. When we're communicating, when we're speaking with other people, what do we know about them already? Are we coming in there with a preconceived, they look this way, they must be this way, they talk this way, they're from this neighborhood, they're from this area of the world, so that means that they are this. How often does that block us from really deeply connecting and expressing ourselves to them and allowing themselves to be expressed to us? How frustrating is that? Been in the workplace maybe. Somebody doesn't quite get you. Somebody doesn't value you or you feel that way. You perceive it to be that way. How anxious that creates. The anxiety that creates. Fear, the resentment. And maybe sometimes the false love, the hyper vigilant, hyper excited. Oh my goodness, everybody loves me, and they don't even know that people are talking about them behind their back. So what I see as an opportunity for enhanced or effective communication is what we call state of being. Who I'm being is going to affect what I hear from you, and it's also going to affect what I say. How critical is this for mental health? Well, this could be the difference between life and death. Say in the Bible, power of life and death is in the tongue. If my state of being is something where I don't like this type of person, or I don't like these people, this lifestyle. I don't like that. That gives me an opportunity now to hear it as anything that they say, I disagree with. Anything that they do, I don't like. Anything that they celebrate, I'm totally against, and I want to destroy. And sometimes it doesn't have to be that aggressive. Sometimes it could be something as simple as, well, I think these people are worthless, or I don't really value them. Women shouldn't have these rights. People of color shouldn't be this way. I could say that, and you have the opportunity to hear that as, this person is evil, this person is wicked, this person is demented, or it could be something as simple as a compliment. I've received compliments before. Man, Alex, you're doing great. I love the show. This is powerful. I love your talk. And there's been other opportunities where, in the same talk, I did a talk like this in Chicago for an association, and I got two types of feedback for the same talk, where I was helping them look at different areas of where they can win in their lives and their businesses, helping them look at where they can upgrade their self worth, how they can stay in their own integrity, remain in their commitments, and also continuously pursue excellence and always keep improving. And I got two types of feedback. One, speaker wasn't prepared. He was rambling. He wasn't very good. I didn't really connect with him. It wasn't relevant. That was one way somebody could see it. That was their state of being, what they heard from what I said. Somebody else shared a message where, this has been an incredible talk. This has been one of the most powerful experiences of my life. This has changed my life. And they went on to a different career, not because I told them to, not because I said, quit your job, but they saw within themselves that they've been playing small. And they wanted a bigger game for themselves. Where were they coming from? Their state of being was listening. They said, I'm going to get something from this, and I want to be inspired. I'm not a motivational speaker, but sometimes the words I do say will motivate. Sometimes the words I do say will inspire. That's my state of being. That's my commitment. That's my stand when I have a microphone in front of me, whether I'm a camera or I'm a person. I'm a stand for people. That's my state of being. And communicating from that place helps me win all the time, because what I get to do is something so magical. It's called having fun and helping people. Having fun and helping people. Yeah, you may hear it as, oh, this guy's a goofball. He's just having fun. He's going wherever he wants. Does all this stuff. Or you can hear it as, wow, what an inspiration. What an opportunity that could be for me. Where in my life is that missing where I can have fun and help other people? Communication is a big part of that. Communication not only with the people around us, but communication with ourselves. How are we talking to us? Is it me versus me? Am I an enemy? Am I an advocate for myself? Or am I an adversary? And the opportunity that's available for you is to consciously and consistently create context. Now, context is king or queen. Now, if I told you that story about talk I did, it's a concept for some people. A, I did a talk. B, this happened. C, I went home. So on and so forth. But the context is also an experience. It's an experiential thing. Context for someone in that crowd was, this is life changing. This is something that can help serve me. When I talk to people and they ask me, hey, what do you do as a coach? I give them a simple choice. Do you want the concept or do you want the context? Concept is very simple. I talk to people, right? They talk, I listen, and we create some ideas. Very simple, very bland, vanilla. The context is giving somebody an experience, and that helps someone's mental health so deeply, because when you have a chance to be heard, to be seen, to be valued, to have somebody you can trust and be a thinking partner with, changes lives. It's changed my life. It's made the biggest change in my life over the last 10 years because there's so much that I didn't know. And I pulled that into a know that I didn't. As I've been able to get insights, insights are valuable. Don't get me wrong. But what I've done with them, actions, the inspired action taken with them, is the most valuable. And I hope that's valuable for you. And what's been valuable for me has been to practice 10 or so disciplines. Now, these are not the end all be all. This is not every something you have to do exactly perfect every single time you're communicating with somebody and with yourself. But I want you to explore these 10 areas. These 10 areas: ruthless honesty, speaking straight, being true, not beating yourself down, but speaking true. Because I don't want you to confuse integrity with morality. I didn't do this, so I'm a bad person. No, I just didn't do this. I said I would. I didn't do it. Be honest. Loving intensely. And this is where I talk about being a stand for people, being a stand for yourself. What is it that you will and will not tolerate? And that's out of love. That's not out of being a bully. That's not out of being harsh or disrespectful. It's can commit to what you say you do. Can you commit to love? Because only love is real. Generous listening. How are you listening? Are you listening from a place of, I want to agree with that person or disagree? Or am I listening from a place of, that's interesting. I didn't see that. I didn't know that about you. Down the list here is curiosity, tying together. How curious can you be about somebody? When I first started dating my wife, even to this day, things are interesting. But when we first get into relationships, right, they're the most interesting person in the world. You're consumed with them. You want to learn everything about them. Oh my goodness, that's your favorite color? Tell me what happened in first grade and this and that. This is an opportunity to connect with people. People are connected when people are valued, when people are enthusiastic, when they're present, they are decisive. They don't allow the outside world to put their finger on them and make feel a certain type of way. When I'm relentlessly optimistic, I see the bright side. I see the opportunities in the obstacles. And I hope that you do too. When I'm loyal to my cause, when I finish what I say I will start and I do that, I execute, it's a beautiful thing. I know I can trust myself. What we have a challenge with in our world is people not trusting themselves and fall into this comparison space of, wow, they're better than me. They did this, they exercise, they laugh, they're enjoying life, and what's left for me? My company's called Abundance Daily Coaching because I see abundance everywhere. I see it all the time. It's available for you, it's available for me. It's a man of faith. I'm created from the master creator, from God. God said, make you in our image. For me, that represents that I have creativity in my blood. Abundance is my birthright. If you cut me open right now, creativity will pour out. Abundance, freedom. It might look like blood, but I guarantee you it's creativity. And being a bold requester is this last principle. I'll share this with you. This was told to me from a coach that I respect and value so much. He once said to me that big results come from bold requests. And this doesn't have to be a heavy thing. If I want you to do this, I demand of you to do this thing. Can you request something from somebody? Can you request something from yourself that is so big, that's so bold, that is so out of your norm, that it stretches you, it helps you grow. It ties back into that state of being. Who do you need to be in order to make a massive request and be able to receive it? So to get to wrap this up, I have a gift for you, being a part of this experience. There's a QR code. There's a link on the bottom right there, talk.ac/Alex Dumas. There's a code there called SUPER. It's a short guide where I dive into some questions around those 10 principles I just shared, those 10 disciplines. And it's to help you live into these 10 disciplines for superhuman communication. I say superhuman because when someone knows that you're generously listening to them, when you're ruthlessly honest, when you're decisive, when you're curious, you're enthusiastic, you're requesting bold things, you're intensely loving them, when you are that, you are loyal to them, you are present, they open up. That gives them space, that gives them safety, and that decreases any type of anxiety, type of fear, doubts, or worries in you. So my invitation for you is scan that QR code. It's a short little survey. Give me some feedback. You get this gift. It's my gift to you. And I would love to hear how it makes a difference for you, how it serves you, how it allows you to create. This share is stopped. This is just a start. I would love to continue working with you. I would love to continue serving you. So take that gift, talk.ac/Alex Dumas, put in that code SUPER. You'll get access to that free ebook. And I'll leave you with these last words as I share on my daily podcast called Love Serve Care. You are born to live your life in abundance. You're the master of your future and you control your freedom. You have complete dominance of your thoughts, your emotions, and your habits. Care. God bless. Stay blessed.